Hello, it's that time again. We're coming up to a new moon. Just before a new moon, the moon slips beneath the horizon into that dark place. And it reminds me right now of the time when Jonah was in the belly of the whale. These are times for us to dive into the belly of the whale and begin to reflect on our lives and to reflect on what we're doing with our lives. And it feels like that's where we're at right now. So in the dark times when the moon has slipped beneath the surface, could be like Jonah. The story of Jonah, by the way, is that Jonah was called. He was called by God to Nineveh. And God called him and he refused. No, I can't go. He had lots of excuses and lots of reasons why he couldn't go, just like we do. Too busy, I've got things to do. Yeah, I'll leave it till another time when we belong to the when I tribe, when I'm older, when I'm younger, when I'm this, when I'm that, when I'm retired, when I'm all those different when I's. So Jonah kept putting off and God called him. And the third time, Jonah decided that not only was he not going to Nineveh, but he was going to get on a boat and go as far away from Nineveh as he could go. So he's on the boat and he's way off into the sea. And suddenly this storm breaks out and it's wild. The wind's blowing like a hurricane and the rain's raining and lightning flashing, thunder. And Jonah's down in the bottom of the boat, rocking. And the sailors are beginning to get afraid because the waves are so huge and they're in danger of capsizing and the storm taking them. And the captain says, someone must have angered the gods. And in that moment, Jonah realized that it was him. And so he decided to throw himself overboard to save the crew and the boat. In that moment, along came the whale and snapped up Jonah, and Jonah ended up in the belly of the whale for 3 days and 3 nights. During that time, he had an opportunity to reflect and to wonder. And don't we all have moments like that in our lives when we wonder and reflect? It's like, what am I doing with my life? What is my meaning? What's the reason for being here? What's my purpose? Is there more to life than this? So anyway, after 3 days and 3 nights, the whale spits Jonah out on the shores of Nineveh. And for me, this tale is one of those teaching stories because you can either go gracefully, answer the call gracefully, or you go kicking and screaming. But at the end of the day, our life is meant to be an adventure. It's meant to be something miraculous, a wholehearted life. And we get called. We get called. And when we get called, if we answer the call, it requires us to leave the shores of the known and set sail across uncharted territories. And I believe that's where we are right now. We're in the I don't know. We're in the unknown. And for many of us, it's terrifying. It's scary. And we will meet along the way in every hero's journey, every great adventure. We are meeting our demons, our inner demons, the aspects of ourselves that have wanted to keep us safe. But if we are to live a really authentic and life full of meaning and purpose, then we must answer the call. And that call can sometimes come like a whisper. Is this all that there is? Or it can come like a crashing, loud voice, or it comes as a crisis. And for me right now, this pandemic is the crisis that is arrived in order for us all to wake up and to say yes to life wholeheartedly, not to be afraid of death. But if we're afraid of death, we're also afraid of life. But to see this as a great adventure and to say, yes, I'm willing to show up and look at what my meaning and purpose for being here is. And that's my work. That's the work that I do in the world, to help people to strip away who they are not so that they can truly show up in the real life that brought them here, the real story. So what was the real story that brought you here? What's the real life adventure that you were supposed to be on? Because for sure, we are not meant to be compliant. We aren't meant to be small and insignificant. We were here, and especially if you're listening to this and you subscribe to our newsletter or you're connected to us on Facebook, I know that you are here to make a difference. That's what you showed up for. That's what I showed up for. And how you make a difference doesn't matter as long as you do. But one of the things I know is that when I'm teaching, when I'm sitting in circle with people and we do our work together, this medicine path is a hero's journey, and it takes you from where you are to where you want to be. And I'm being called to find new ways of delivering this medicine to people who are willing and ready to answer that call. So it's an adventure for us all. So thank you for hearing me. Thank you for being you. And I will see you on the path.